still not.
I'm just asking.
Okay, now
Now, if
Now,
there's
yeah,
anybody else,
obviously.
let's screw them, right? Is there anybody else? Is there somebody else there? Is Andrew coming there? Ah, wonderful. How was everybody's weekend? Okay, well that was a little bit much. Do you want to share in the trust tree? What's going on?
I was doing like the essay.
The essay,
And
the
then I
wonderful
realized
essay.
It's just the most historic, detailed breakdown of Scientology structure ever.
Yes, which is its own criminal organization. Maybe you should ask where David's wife is. The leader of Scientology, his wife has been missing for over 10 years. And anybody that asks, David Muscave, suddenly they're suppressive people. Ever been a suppressive person? Is there somebody waiting at the thing? Who was that?
Never seen that man in my entire life.
Interesting air.
Better relate.
Just seeing how complicated it was, it was just like, wow.
Yes, complication. And this is where we get into KASBAN. It's not rock the Casbah, don't worry. KASBAN, you guys have experienced your entire life. You just don't realize it. You know when they have those little boxes and arrows that show you where this goes, where that goes to show you workflow? That is KASBAN. Why would we have KASBAN? What creates KASBAN? Connor, what do you think?
How efficient you are.
And maybe easy to understand. Has anybody dealt with an IT person before? Everybody know that they have like 40 different brain synapses going on at the same time, and it's hard to follow because guess what? I need a checklist with my IT guy. He's a great guy, Saeed. Fantastic. He's right across the way at the IT forum. I had to leave that this morning because there was way too much talk. Their network mingling is just all over the place. They're very intelligent, and it's not that I feel stupid, but it's hard to follow, right? So KASBAN are the little boxes that go, we will do this, then we will do this, then we will do this. AJ, why is that important that you know that? Doesn't mean you're stupid, but why is that important that you know that? That we can dumb it down to where even the intelligent people have to show you exactly what's going on. Not that you're not intelligent, but you know the difference.
So there's just no miscommunication of like what needs to get done.
Connor, why would there be miscommunication otherwise? Can't we just write it down on a piece of paper?
Yeah. It could get lost.
Sometimes tasks are a little bit muddled, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it makes all tasks clear. Did I not do that in the syllabus, and still there are people that ask me due dates, ask me different things? Why is that, Yasmin? Why is it that people maybe don't read as much as they should? They don't want to take the time. We've got limited time, right? We just keep going around. It doesn't mean that we're not all intelligent, but we've only got a certain amount of time. So if I have it in a box and I have it going down, you know where it's going, right, Amy? Why? Why is that important?
Because you're giving me directions what exactly I need to do in a specific time frame.
And it makes sure that you don't mess anything up, because we don't want mess ups. Why don't we want mess ups, Madison?
Because that creates waste in the system.
Waste in the system, and we're looking at lean management. I know that a lot of you kind of go, geez, why are we studying criminal organizations? Don't worry. It'll get clear if it hasn't already. You already have CEOs, right? Usually called the drug kingpin. You have people that are down below, right? And then you have people below them, and then you have people below them. Kind of seems like a good flow chart, doesn't it? An org map. Anybody ever read an org map? Uriel? You exist in an org map right now. Where do you think you exist in an org map in this university? So you just think you and the president could fist bump and you have the same authority? No. Wait, hold on. Is there an org map that otherwise suggests who's in charge? Why is that important that you know who you can go to? What if all of a sudden they just started beating on Freddie? Who would you go to?
Me personally, I would move up
I tell professors.
Move up the chain. Notice how that works. Do we not think that's KASBAN? That is KASBAN to it. And no offense, Freddie. I'm sorry, I had to beat on you. But at the same time, right? You know you have to go somewhere. You don't just go, hey, men, we should probably do something, right? I mean, maybe you say that, but let's be honest, right? You go up the chain, and if their authority doesn't work, there's another KASBAN. What is the other KASBAN, men? Oh, we're going to talk to the police department. Oh, we're going to talk to this. You can keep going up, no matter what you do. In the movie Payback with Mel Gibson, before he was like really a racist, he always said, if you ever try to go higher, there's always somebody else. There's always somebody higher than you. And that was the whole point of that entire thing. KASBAN shows you there is a structure. There are also clear tasks. We know exactly what we're doing at all times. Why do you think it was important in your syllabus to know where you were going at all times? You already know your finals. You already know your final paper. You could have written it already, Connor. How do you feel now? You could have written all of your papers now, way before. You didn't do that, did you? Why not?
Because I didn't fully know what to write about.
You didn't fully know what to write about, right? So it's a workflow process. That's why we have class. There's a structure. There's a reason, Xander. Isn't that a reason to show up to class? That you're actually gaining more knowledge instead of less? And poor you here is like, just don't call on me, right? Come on, you. It was kind of fun. But at the same time, kind of gets the processes going and you know what to expect. What if I threw a surprise quiz on you right now, Min? How would you feel?
I'm probably gonna say, oh shit.
Oh shit. That's why we don't have them, right? That's why we don't have, oh, hey, let's do something new today. I have nothing against that. Some professors like that. Do you? But at the same time, it's important that we know specifically where we're going. Because when we know specifically where we're going, we know how much time we have to put into papers, don't we? Because if we didn't, this is why I kind of laugh when everybody doesn't do their criminal syndicate thing. You already knew. You had 3 months to figure it out. Seems like maybe somebody should have paced themselves a little different. There's always going to be one of you that doesn't turn it in. I will smile at this. Or they use AI writing at the last minute. Right? Because there's always one. There's always one running behind. So why is that important that we know KASBAN from the start, Madison?
To help us pace ourselves and so we know what to expect going forward so we can allot our time properly.
And it also exposes Amy when she's not doing her work. What do you mean? She didn't turn in her stuff. She didn't do her stuff. This is where we knew we were going from the beginning. Doesn't that help you overall? Because remember, when we were judging people, when we were judging everybody in facilities and everything else, we were just going, I don't know what he does. Let's get rid of him. And then all of a sudden he shows up and he shows you what he does. Or Saints Care or anything else. And all of a sudden it puts a personality to it, doesn't it? When it puts a personality to it, how easy is it to cut something or say something doesn't work? Why? Person behind it. Isn't that amazing? All of a sudden we think that there might be people. Poor Connor with that bad haircut. How you doing, Connor? Really? Don't worry, I don't have any hair. It's kind of par for the course that I'd make fun of people that did. You know, I feel it's my way of giving back. Poor Uriel can grow hair like mad, but I can't. Yeah, right? Or I grew up in the wrong places, like armpits and ears. Right? So yeah, when the lady shaves my head, she's usually shaving into my ears too. Right? So everything is about establishing flow because we don't want work to pile up. Why don't we want work to pile up, Madison? Why can't we just say, oh, this happens. We've always done it this way.
Because if it piles up, then we're rushed to complete it, and then it won't be done as well as it could have been if more time had been allotted to it.
That's why I have a checklist. You guys don't even see my checklist. I have checklists of everything I'm going to do. Somebody wants to meet with me? Great. AJ wants to meet with me. Wrote it down on my checklist. Everything. Why do I do that? Because I want to make sure that I get everything done. including when I'm over at the other side in the gambling commission. I have checklists over there. Why is it important, AJ, that I have checklists to make sure everything gets done? Shouldn't I be smart enough to just remember everything?
I mean, you can be, but like having a physical checklist that makes you know that you got things done. You don't have to try and remember if you got it done.
Orderly fashion. Sometimes I have checklists on things I'm not going to accomplish, but we try to get it done. You know, I mean, but at the same time, if I know ahead of time, doesn't it make sure that I get certain things out at a certain time? I don't kind of go, oh, geez, I forgot. Now, I'll always forget things, but everything else is in orderly fashion, isn't it? So this comes to the 5S system. Uh-oh, Madison's going to write some stuff down. So's Amy. I can see it. Sort that which is needed between that which is not needed. Connor, tell me why that's important.
So that you don't keep stuff that you don't need. Waste money.
Isn't that a part of lean management? Also knowing the crap that isn't going to work. It's just sitting around collecting dust. Isn't that important? Uriel, how do you feel about that? Should we just collect a bunch of shit that doesn't work?
No.
Why not?
No, it won't make a mess.
Yeah. Straighten. I always arrange things. That way something never gets lost. The McDonald's system. We know where everything is. Anybody been in a coffee shop? Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the person who has been. Isn't everything within one place? You know where it goes. It has little signs. It has little things. Why would it do that? Doesn't that hurt the feng shui? The wonderful Chinese system. Is it Chinese feng shui?
Yes.
Would I say for Chinese? Would we go Chinese, or would we go more of, Mongolian, other places that are within the Chinese system, right? That they've assumed. But at the same time, why it hurts our feng shui? Because I have to see these little signs. Or does it help? It helps because if I know where things go, not that I would do this in a living room, have a little sign that says couch, have a little sign that says lamp. We wouldn't say that. But at the same time, if I've got cups and I'm in a certain organization and I need to know where the cups are, or the milk, or the orange juice, why is that important, Madison?
So you need to ask people, you can find it yourself, and everything gets returned to where it belongs. So when someone else needs to find it, they can find it where it belongs.
Also, you're in a high-paced system, right? We're trying to get stuff out within quality, but at the same time, we need to get stuff out, don't we, Xander? Why do we need to get stuff out in an orderly fashion?
You need to be efficient. It's fast-paced.
Efficient and fast-paced. Shine. This is one that I always have problems with at my own place, but in my workspace, it's great. Clean. Environment. Why is it important to you to have a clean environment?
We can obviously be patient.
Okay, so if all the stuff here was garbage, it was just garbage everywhere, do you guys feel that you would have been in a better environment? And maybe it's a little sticky. Somebody just, left donuts everywhere. You didn't get to eat the donut. You just get the sugar. There's ants. Poor Madison has to brush off the ants, right? Not the ones that are in your house from the Geico commercial. Still makes me laugh. Nobody seen them? That we have ants in the house is all aunts, really. See, it's more of the English term, but it's all older women that are expired, telling you slouch all the time, right? Not the same? A little bit? I don't know. But shine, that's one of them. Oh my gosh, standard. We're going to adapt the best practices. So while I was over at the IT forum, I started snapping pictures. Every little setup they did. And she goes, why are you doing that? And I said, because I might copy this. Good artists create. Great artists steal. It's a quote from Da Vinci, Picasso, and Bill Gates. They all stole the same thing. You steal the best practices. Everyone who tells you that that's horrible, you're creating stuff. You're creating stuff right now based off of my interaction with you. Based off of things I tell you. That means you're stealing it. That's fine. Take it. Adapt it. That's what you do here. Why wouldn't you? right? Nothing is ever created without any kind of source. Standard. We create the best standard here because when Amy comes into this class, she expects certain things. She doesn't even know she expects. She expects me to adapt the best syllabus possible, the best learning style, the best stuff. Why do you expect that? You paid for it. You want the best delivery, don't you, AJ? You don't want it to where I don't know. Hey guys, I've done this like a few times, I guess. Oh yeah, I'll get your syllabus someday, right? Oh, that fell apart. That didn't sound good. Please plug it back in. But at the same time, I don't know what that was. A little bit scary.
Hold my car key.
Oh, okay, it was your car key. But at the same time, that's one of them. Now the final one, sustain. By the way, I will tell you the magic that I experienced, and I've only experienced it once. And if I could ever get back to that magic, I'm being serious. Seattle University. I was the ticket manager. We had 3 different guys that were also graduate assistants. Every single basketball game, come in at night, we just bang it out. We knew everything. We kept it on a standard. We had the sports information guy who was full-time. We hummed. I've never experienced anything since. Nobody ever blamed. Nobody ever said anything. Everyone was on point. We brought anybody in. This is the standard. This is what we're doing. This is the process. If I could take that magic, I have worked in an athletic department since. I've worked in pro sports since. I've worked here. I'm not blaming anybody here. But at the same time, you don't have that magic because you only get it once. And when you get it, you will not recognize it till it's done because sustaining it is the biggest thing. 2 years after Amazon went public, there was a magazine that devastated them. Back when magazines did something. It's called Amazon.Trash. It said how now the big boys were coming in, and now the big boys were going to just destroy Amazon. Right, Uriel? Because that happened. Right? Because nobody's ever used that product since, right? It's like pets.com. Jeff Bezos got everyone together and said, we have 150 people here. We can make this work. But you should be worried every day anyway. Because you should be worried about what the customer thinks. You should be worried about what this product does. What was he doing, Xander? What was he doing within the 5 S's?
He was trying to make it more efficient.
And he was creating a standard. We're going to sustain. We're going to survive. Anybody see Independence Day? Nobody knows what the hell's going on, and then the president gets up there and goes, here's what we're doing. We're going to launch this strike, and we're going to kick the shit out of the aliens. Same thing. You have to create a standard. Sometimes people confuse that with a strong man. I'm not talking the Putin strong man that basically goes in, and if you're a terrorist, now we're going to feed you your ear, which they just did. I'm not talking that. But at the same time, you need a leader. Male or female, doesn't matter. Whatever gender, doesn't matter. You need somebody to say, this is the direction we are going. Why is it important that I establish this kind of meritocracy in class? Because if you don't know what the standard is, how can you follow it? Right? We're going to keep going. Have we changed our standard? Have we adapted? Of course we have. But we've adapted for the betterment of everybody involved. When there are issues, when I have created issues because I mistakenly put something down right on the connect thing, I addressed it. I didn't address it to one person or keep it silent. We wanted to make sure that it was efficient. We wanted to make sure that it worked for you, as well as the online students, by the way, who know that it's you and men that figured that out. So congratulations. Someday you'll meet them and fist bump them, maybe. But at the same time, it makes a difference, doesn't it? Because if you don't create that standard, what happens? If you don't sustain it, what happens worse? Freddie, give me a reason that you want to sustain good things compared to bad. Why would we worry about sustaining something?
I mean, you want to keep like criticism. I mean, not criticism, but you want to be able to, have more good things than bad things.
More good things than bad things, because otherwise things turn to liquid shit. How quickly can they dissolve? Name a product that you guys had that you really fell in love with that's no longer around. There's tons of them. They gave it up. Sears, at one point, was the Amazon of its day. 1972, hard to remember, I get it, but it owned 1% of the gross domestic product for the world. Meaning you bought just about everything. It came from Sears or Sears touched it. Anybody know what a Sears is now? It's been bankrupt for about 10 years because Sears stopped sustaining it. They stopped with the Craftsman tools that they did. Craftsman tools used to be the thing you bought. Whirlpool used to be the thing you bought. You bought it because they would take it back no matter what. Then all of a sudden, Uriel, one day they decide, yeah, we don't want to cover that. It's expensive. That integrity, they stopped sustaining the product. They started making it worse. They started, by the way, you can look at all this in the big store if you ever want to look at a giant book that's pretty dynamic of watching something go down the swirling toilet. They literally said, sorry, we don't want to cover that stuff in the 80s. Oh, we'll cover that. Let's get it cheaper. The customer won't know the difference. How quickly do we fall? There are products all over the place. You know what Jeff Bezos said about Amazon recently? He said, one day it'll be gone. Amazon owns a ton of stuff. Why would it be gone? Uriel, why would Amazon worry about being gone?
Because over time, everything eventually fades. Because something better will come.
S&P 500. Back in the 50s, an S&P 500, one of the top 500 corporations in the world, according to Standard & Poor's, the business lasted about 80 years. Now, lasts about 10, 20. Think about that. You're part of an organization and it's done. It's because they don't go with the 5 S's. I can give you a tool that you can each use every single day. 1% a day, improve yourself. You will not recognize the difference, but 1% a day matters. So let's go back to the 1950s. President Eisenhower, before your time, he was a general, he happened to get a burger, and he ate it. He told his wife, geez, I think I had bad onions. Turns out he was getting a heart attack. Yes, he survived, but here's the deal. Men about his age, in their 50s, had heart attacks all the time. Heart attacks exist, right? But heart disease went down 1% every single year by what we ate, what we know about the human body, different things. There are things with women's health that we have done that otherwise women, do you know how many women died in childbirth? I mean, it was extraordinary. Back into the 1930s. You went in with mom, you came out, you might have a baby, you might not. Those things have changed. Now, I'm not saying everything is great with women's health or heart disease or anything else, but they've improved it, and it's unrecognizable because it's 1% a day, 1% a year, whatever it does. You could improve by 1% a day and improve your entire life simply by your habits, simply by your checklist. But it's that last S, sustaining it, that matters. How many times have you used and improved on something and then all of a sudden dropped it at some point?
Yes.
And what happened?
I just couldn't sustain it.
Couldn't sustain it. The wonderful New Year's Eve resolution everybody has. Suddenly the gyms are full for about 3 weeks. Everyone who goes to the gym constantly is pissed off. What are all these people doing here? Gyms know. By the way, gym memberships in the mob. The mob could learn some things about the gym memberships, about how basically you come on, it's hard to get off. It's the biggest multi-level marketing I've ever seen in my life. To where gyms are oh, you have to go into the store to actually tell us why. Oh, okay. But what is that telling you? People can't sustain it because they try to go hardcore. How many people ever lifted weights? Okay? And then how many people have seen people that try to lift the top weight instead of maybe 10 pounds? And they hurt themselves or they can't sustain it. What does that tell you about actually the 5 S's? that maybe you should go slower. Learn what your speed is. That doesn't mean to go to state worker speed, which is, I got a job. I mean, I exist with all those people all the time. But let's be honest. You have to do some type of pacing, right? We have to get the burgers out. We have to get the Sony cassettes out, whatever you're going to call it. But at the same time, you need quality, don't you? Because if you don't have quality, what's the other thing? Liquid shit. So back to Kaizen. Do you remember what Kaizen is, Connor? Because I even have it on my sheet.
No idea.
It's that continuous improvement process. We don't remember that? We're not trying to continually improve? Haven't you continually improved since you got into this class? You have, right? What's been the expectation? Why did you continuously improve in this class, Connor? What motivated you to continuously improve? Because you are not the same person that came into this class, none of you are, from 9 weeks ago. Uriel, what's the difference?
Show up on time.
You show up on time. I know, God, that was an entire class. Connor and Xander are thinking about that. Now they look at the clock all the time. But what else? What are some of the other things, Xander? What has changed in your mindset from 9 weeks ago? Let's rewind the clock.
I mean, I feel better about speaking out, like, in front of a class about things, even if I'm not sure what I'm talking about.
Even if I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Okay, that's different. Madison, what's been the change from 9 weeks ago? We continuously improve. And if you can't tell me what you've done, I feel bad because that means I haven't communicated.
All been learning about organization and how to improve as an organization and an individual and a leader.
And how have you improved personally?
I have started going to class earlier and more effort with work.
And we mapped it out. We know where everything goes. We don't dominate the discussion, but we also don't ridicule people. I can't believe you said that, right? Or all that stuff. Or tune everybody out by looking at slides. I hate slides. I have a whole boot camp over the summer for people in sports sales. Not 7 slides or less, 30 minutes, and your ass better be interesting or you're off. And I always go, can't you curb that a little bit? No. I don't want you to even have slides. I think you should be your PowerPoint slide. You know what the difference is? I'm usually communicating more. Because if I don't know the topic, it leaves me exposed. Do you know the U.S. Army got away from PowerPoints? You know why they got away from PowerPoints? They found out people were cutting to the chase way too quickly on complex items. Why would that be important, that we not cut to the chase?
To understand the details.
Why are the details important?
It changes the whole outcome.
You're changing the whole outcome. Wait, you're just saying that I'm massing 200,000 people. I can't write that on the board and you know exactly where they're going and that's it? You don't think that there are people on the ground that they have to face interactions? Is that maybe one of the reasons that Kaizen is also about continuous improvement, but it's also about continuous criticism? Freddie, why is it important that you be able to criticize not only yourself, but the effort of those around you? Not in a negative way, but to say, hey, how can we do this better?
It's understanding of improvement.
Understanding of improvement. AJ, do you have the ability to call out your fellow baseball players?
Yeah,
Why?
just holding them accountable.
But why is that important that they hear it from you, or Connor hears it from his fellow soccer players? Why is it important that you hear it from the people who are in it with you?
Because they can relate, and it's not just like an old coach is telling you something. It's someone that's like you.
Enter and on. Oh, wonderful. And on. You guys have been using it. It means alerting the entire team to problems. When something goes wrong, invite collaboration. Did anybody see Grand Canyon University? At one point they didn't have the coaches even in the huddle, and the CBS and all of them were shocked. And they actually did better. Why did they do better? Because they held each other accountable, and they know that I'm not saying anything to you to belittle you. I'm trying to make you better because I want to be better, and I want us to be better. And how does that come across, Uriel? When it's not somebody just yelling at you.
More motivating.
More motivating? Xander, do you feel there's a difference? Why?
Because it's more like it's the people that are in it with you.
Okay, they're in it with you, but what also changes? Maybe they're seeing things not to make you worse. They're not trying to get your spot. They're not trying to do things to get their friends to get your spot. They're actually trying to help you. So if I'm trying to help you, isn't that important? Why is that important?
Because you know the person's not trying, like they're not out to get you or anything like that. They want you to do the best that you can because it helps you work best in a team to accomplish as much as you can.
So it draws attention to the quality of the product, not the speed. We might have to slow this down a little. Imagine that. We're not trying to skyrocket. Didn't we talk about this in the last class? That speed isn't the only thing that we should focus on? Speed isn't the only thing that matters? Great, I can get it out to you, but it's half done. Anybody have something half done? How do you feel about it? Right? You want it to work right when you ordered it. You got excited. Aren't we on the company side supposed to give it to you in the right order, men?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what happens if I just give you a shoddy battery because I rushed it in your laptop?
Yeah, I got a complaint. I can't shoot you about what you like.
Yes, you're going to shoot me. That seems a little drastic, but okay. The Toyota factory had a mechanism. They still do. What do we think that mechanism is, Amy? In Andon. What do we think that mechanism is?
Collaboration.
Also, I can shut down the line even if I'm the lowest on the totem pole. I'm on the line. Why is that important, Yasmin? Why can you shut down my class if all of a sudden things aren't going right? How dare you as a student tell me that I might not be able to have this class the way I want to have this class? Maybe because we're holding each other accountable. I can't just start talking about blah, blah, blah. I actually have to get you on board with what we're doing. It's your time too. I don't want you to shut down class for no reason, right? The rest of the students would kind of be like, what are you doing? But if Mina's like, I have a question, don't we stop and answer that question? Don't we address it? Why do we address it? Andrew had a problem with the way I formatted questions. Great. I'll reformat my questions. Why do we do that? I'm not going to be upset by it, but because you have to learn. I'm a delivery system. I am supposed to try to make it learn. What if I didn't have any notes? What if I just rambled every single class? I could figure this out. I've done this enough. Xander, do we feel that I would always deliver the best product? Why not?
Because you wouldn't have a focus for what you're saying.
I wouldn't have a focus for what I'm saying. And I always rewrite my notes before every single class. Even if I have them, I rewrite them. I update them. Why do we do that? Continuous improvement. Because if we don't have continuous improvement, how quickly do I put you to sleep? We've all dealt with that lecturer that's done this for 20 years, right? And after a while, they take their foot off the gas. How does that feel, Connor? How does that feel when somebody goes through the motions? I'm sure you've had a soccer player that's on your team or something that has gone through the motions. What happens when they do that? What happens to the team?
Everybody doesn't want to care because it looks like they don't care.
Everybody stops giving a shit, right? Because nobody wants to get hurt. Am I wrong?
No.
What, I can't use that language because your virgin ears can't hear it? Or we can just be relatable, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens when all of a sudden everybody stops, AJ? What happens to the team? Everybody stops giving a shit. What happens?
Oh, the whole group just plummets down. It's hard to find a way back up when no one wants to step up or they choose not to care.
And it creates problems, doesn't it? Andon is about no one being reliant on the idea that they are alone in a problem. You're not alone, Ariel. We all have the same issue. We're going to fix it right now. How important is it that you have team leaders that address things? And what happens if all of a sudden the team leaders aren't addressing something? All of a sudden you have other people that will go, hey, even if they're at the bottom of the totem pole at the team, right? Why is it important somebody who bench rides all the time goes, hey, this is important? Why is that important that you hear them out?
Because then if someone's not doing their job, it will bring everybody together.
It brings everybody together, and it's not about trying to get on the team and trying to take their spot, but it's saying this isn't working. We've got to address it. Andon talks about better design, better delivery, better everything, better product. We want a better product. What happens if I have a baby and I just kind of ignore it? Uriel, don't worry, I feed it. What happens to that baby as it grows up? Won't learn anything, neglected. Turns out that it probably runs some city somewhere as a mayor. You know, whatever. Come on, that was funny, Connor. But at the same time, right, doesn't really get a lot out of you. And then the parent's always confused why the kid doesn't really care. Oh, wait, you didn't care about me. Suddenly I'm supposed to care about you when it comes to your own, going into a retirement home. But at the same time, it's input in, input out. What does that mean, Xander? The more I put in, the more I get out. What does that mean?
Like if you give more care or thought into something, you're going to get better rewards.
And when you leave this class, you should learn more than just, I learned organizational management and I just went through the motions here and I got a grade. All of you focused on a wonderful grade. What if I just gave you A+ and told you to leave? Would you learn more? Or would you feel more robbed over the idea that you didn't learn anything? A grade is arbitrary. Great. All of you get a grade. Ooh. But you still paid for something. Shouldn't you get that delivery? Shouldn't that product be more important to you? Why is that product more important more than you just getting a grade? Correct. As Dr. Dan Sisson used to tell me, if you didn't learn anything, I didn't do my job. Fascinating gentleman, and I learned a lot. But it was because he brought a lot every single day. Because if you don't bring the thunder, what's exactly the point? Right? So as I look in my notes, we talk about the other part. The part that everyone uses as a contrived effort in political statements, but really matters. People first. All of a sudden, when you guys started looking at cutting, and then you met some of the people, kind of seemed like I didn't want to cut that person, did it? All of a sudden, Xander's like, shit, I should have had the music department come in. They come in with their violins and throw rosin at you or whatever, right? But at the same time, why is it important that you meet the people that are behind the things? Why is that important?
Because it puts a face to it, and it just gives it like a personality to realize you're actually like cutting someone rather than just something.
Did you feel that any of those people didn't give a shit?
They definitely cared.
They definitely cared. So when all of a sudden it comes to them on the chopping block, are you more willing to figure out that these might be people, all of these people, and that maybe people haven't been talked to? And maybe if there's an issue, maybe we can talk it out. Doesn't this come back to Andon? Instead of thinking that everybody can be cut and every solution can just be, I can replace you. How does that work? Congratulations, Connor, I can replace you. There's other students. I only need 7. Do you think that really improves my teaching style if I say that? Why?
Because the people who you'd be teaching would feel like they could be on anytime.
And they're a number. Right, Mina? They're a number. We don't want people to be a number. Why don't we want people to feel like they're a number?
If you just consider them in a quantitative aspect, then they're not going to perform, as well as they would have if you consider their rights and feelings as a person.
Rights and feelings as a person. Everyone makes fun of you guys for the fact that you actually care about other people. Like you're like, oh, geez, like I care about the human aspect. Oh, geez. So horrible. But it's also how you behave to others. that you actually have to care about somebody else, that you want everybody to work hard. We're doing group work every day, but we're doing it in a dynamic way that doesn't make you feel like somebody else is taking advantage of you. Does it, Amy? How many times have you been in group work where everybody took advantage of you? All the time. And did that make you work harder or less?
It made me work harder because it was my work.
But also, what happened? You didn't feel that it was people first, did you? You felt like you didn't get recognized separately when you were doing all the work. This is all group work is. Sociopaths glomming onto you and deciding that, no, they're smart, they'll do all the work. I'll get all the credit. Then they stand up here and they kind of go, oh yeah, hey. And then they all get a grade. Worthless. I think this is better group work because when Connor's eyes drift and looks outside, I go, oh, what's Connor doing? Let's pick on him for a little bit. Right, Connor? I'm having fun with you. Don't worry about it. But respect is the core thinking that everyone has to have. Why is respect important, Madison?
Because if you feel respected, you're more willing to work harder than if you don't feel respected.
Also, it kind of tends to go back to the idea that these people that you met, you have to respect them after a certain point. Do we think that Sharon doesn't really do her job? This public safety? Everyone acts like public safety is just the easiest thing to cut. I should bring in the police chief again. You'd find out how very short-staffed they are and how they're not letting you into your car anytime soon. Maybe we'll do that. Robert will come in. But, we had one county commissioner who's new who decided to berate him because he wasn't worried about the homeless encampments over here and constantly using his force. And he's like, well, that's not what cops are for. But also, I only have 68 of them in 2 shifts for the largest community in Lacey. Oh, a little bit different when we learn what the knowledge is, right? Seems easier when I put it down on a piece of paper as opposed to me telling you what the issues are, right? Because when you hear it from a person, isn't it more emotional? Why is it more emotional when you hear it from a person rather than see it on a piece of paper, Connor?
Because it's their lives and how they live.
And also, do you maybe put yourself in that position? Maybe the fact that it's people first. Geez, I don't want to be treated like a number, right? What happens if I didn't know any of your names? I screwed up on some of your names, but you called me out on it, right? But by this time, 9 weeks in, I go, you. Not you, but you, right? Like, how would you feel?
If you didn't know my name?
Yeah.
I'd be left out like a number.
Feel like a number. And then what happens to you as your work effort?
It's not as good.
Why would it be not as good?
Because it seems like you don't care, so why would I?
Yes. So we ask questions. We learn. We innovate. What does that help us do? Back when Amazon was worried 2 years in that they were gone, he rallied the troops, but he just stopped there. Amazon was just selling books at that point. They asked questions. What else could we get into? What else could we do? Why is that important? Why is it important that they continue to ask questions?
Because then they can continue to grow, continue to sustain their business and their ability to innovate.
Yeah. I mean, at one point, I think the Boston Red Sox, the new owners just got together and go, hey, why aren't we trying to win this thing? It was like 86 years. I think they should take over the Mariners. Maybe we'd finally win once.